Welcome back, Chippers, to another edition of Chippers TV. This week we are going to build a long distance rubber band car. What we're going to start with is this one is designed out of cardboard. We're going to make it out of wood. So we're going to do our design first and our layout, and we're going to build a template so then we can cut everything out with wood. So what we need to do is we've got our piece of paper, pencil, and a ruler, and the way this is going to be is this is an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. Okay, so the first thing we got to do is the actual length of the entire car is 8.5, so we're going to cut off some of this. So we're going to lay that on there, and we're going to mark 8.5. 8.5's right there. There's your 8. There's your half. We're going to put a dot. We're going to do the same on the other side, so we can do a straight line. We got our dot. Take our straight edge, line it up on the dots. And we're going to draw our first line. Okay, the front of the car, we want the front of the car to be 5 inches. Okay, so to get our 5 inches, just remember this is 8.5. So if I come over here, I measure in, and I measure in 1 3/4, and I come in here 1 3/4 to there. That gives us our 5-inch piece. So I'm going to mark that. I'm going to mark that. And we want the depth to be 1.5, so we're going to come back and go to 1.5. So we want to mark that up to there, and the same on this side to there. So what we're going to do now is we're going to draw our line up, and this is going to give us the front of our car. So we go up to there, we do the same over here. Okay, so that's going to be the front of our car. So now what we want to do is we want to get an angle on this on either side, so the front and the back's going to be wider. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my ruler and I'm going to come at an angle. I'm going to come up. I'm going to come up 6 inches. So you got 6 inches there, and do the same on this side. I'll come up 6 inches there. So then I take my ruler, and there's the front of our car. So we're going to come across and draw our angle. Draw our angle there. Turn this around. We're going to do the same thing here. Get our angle. Draw that. That's the outline of our car. Now the way this is going to work is in the front we're going to have an axle with 2 2-inch wheels and a centerpiece of a 6-inch wheel that we're going to connect our rubber bands to power the car. So what I got to do now is I got to measure up, because we're going to put a slot in the back here to actually mount the flywheel. Okay, we're going to go 5 inches in. So we go 5 inches in, 5 inches in, and it's got to be 3.5 in. So we're going to measure across, and I've already got that marked and that marked. So what we're going to do is we're going to draw our straight line from point to point, there to there, and there to there. We're going to close that off. Okay, and with that, that's what we're going to cut out, and we're going to cut these pieces out, and that's going to be the frame of our car. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that out. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the edge off. Get that cut off. Then we're going to cut out where our 6-inch wheel is going to go. we get that cut out. Now we got to cut out the sides of our car. Okay, we'll turn it around and we do the same on the other side. And there we have the frame of our car. So this is what we're going to lay out on the wood. So this is the front end axle with 2 wheels and 1 axle in the back with 1 6-inch wheel. So now what we have to do is we're going to lay out our 6-inch wheel. So again, just to make it safe, we're going to get close to the center of the page. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go corner to corner. Ruler's not long enough, so I'm just going to get close. And we're going to draw our line. And we're going to do the same on the other side. Draw a line. And that gets us close enough to center right there. So the center of our piece of paper to draw our 6-inch wheel. So now we're drawing a 6-inch wheel. I've got my compass. Okay, and the compass has lead in it like a pencil and a center point to put on the point. If we want a 6-inch wheel, what do we need to set this at? We need to set this at 3 inches, because that's 3 inches all the way around, which is going to give us a 3-inch wheel. So what I got to do is I got to set this on here and wheel this out to 3 inches. So now I've got my 3 inches. So now I take my compass, put it on the center, and then I'm going to spin this around. And there's our 6-inch wheel. Okay, so this is 6 inches that way and that way. So it's 3 on either side, which gives us our 6-inch wheel. Now we need our 2 front wheels, and they're going to be 2 inches. So we're going to lay this out again. If we got a 2-inch wheel, we only need to make it 1 inch wide. So we're going to bring this in to 1 inch. And there's our 1 inch. So now I'm going to take this, put that on a piece of paper, draw that around, and there's our 2 2-inch wheels, which are going to be the front of our wheels. So we've got our wheels set. So we got our templates. So we've got our 6-inch wheel and our two 2-inch wheels. We've got the body of our car, which is going to be 5 inches at the front. Okay, we're going to take it at an angle up to 8.5. Cut the back off, so our back wheel is going to hang out just a little bit on the back, and then we're going to mount on the side 2 holders to put the rubber band in and a small axle in the back. So now we're going to take these out in the shop, and we're going to actually start building the car. All right, now that we've designed our car and made our template out of paper, now I got a 1/4-inch piece of plywood here that I'm going to actually cut the base out of, and to make our axle, we're going to use a 1/2-inch piece here that we're going to take over in a minute to the miter saw and cut off 4 pieces, so we have our two sets of axles. So what I did first is I laid out my template on here and marked all the way around in all the spots. Now what we're going to do is we're actually going to take it, we're going to take our jigsaw and we're going to start cutting our main body frame out. Okay? So remember, the first thing before we do anything with hand tools or power tools, put on our safety glasses. This is our jigsaw that I'm going to use, and I'm going to cut out this piece for our frame. Okay, now there's our body of our car. So the next thing we got to do is we got to cut out our 6-inch wheel for the back, which is going to be our power, and the 2 front wheels, which are going to be 2 inches. So what I'm going to do for that is, this is already preset, so I didn't need my template for that. This is a 6-inch hole cutter. So we're going to take that and we're going to put this in our drill. We're going to tighten that up. And what I'm going to do is set this on here like this. I'm going to move this back so we don't waste too much plywood. And we're going to cut out our 6-inch wheel. Having a little bit of problem with the bounce. And now we have our 6-inch back wheel right here. So the next thing I got to do is I got to cut our 2 2-inch wheels. Okay, so now we're going to cut out our 2-inch wheels, and we're going to need 2 of these for the front end of the car, so we're going to cut those next. Our 2 2-inch wheels. Okay, we're going to have to sand these down and break these pieces off so they're smooth, so they'll roll correctly. Now we're going to go over to the miter saw and cut the axle supports. Okay, so now that we've cut out our body and our 3 wheels, our 6-inch wheel and our 2 front axle 2-inch wheels, we got to cut out the axle supports and drill holes in them. Okay, so these have to be 1.5 by 1.5. So what I've done is I've already pre-cut this piece. There you can see it's 1.5 by 1.5 right there. So what I've done again is I've made a jig on the miter saw. We'll put the piece up against there and slide that up against, and then we're going to cut it. We've got to cut 4 pieces because we have to have 2 supports for the front axle and 2 supports for the back axle. Okay, now I have my pieces, so then we're going to go back over, and now we've got to drill holes in these, and so we're going to have to mark off the center to drill the center holes for them. Okay, now that we've cut out our axle supports, so now what we got to do is I got to find the center for each one of these, because we got to drill a hole for our axle to actually go through. So what I'm going to do is I'll take this, and remember we're going to go corner to corner, and then go corner to corner. And that's going to give us our center. So there's our center. So what we got to do now is we got to drill these out. So here's my drill and my wood drill bit. Again, safety glasses first. I put them in this vise here so I can drill through, and this will support them. So I put my drill bit in the center. Drill that out. I've already pre-marked the others. So put that in, line it up, Got one more. And now we have our pieces. And we have our holes drilled for our axle. Now I'm going to show you what the axle is going to look like. Okay, we've cut out our holes for our axle supports. We're going to use this dowel as our axle support. This dowel is about the size of a pencil. It's about 5/16 of an inch round. And so we're going to use that. But what we want to do before we mount our axle supports onto our car is we're going to make sure they fit on and spin like that. So then that way we make sure that the axle will spin. Alright, so now we have our axle supports out. So now we got to glue these onto our model so we can get them in the right place. And that's how it's going to be set up. Two front wheels are going to go up here, and our 6-inch wheel is going to go back here. And we got to make sure that we leave enough room for it to spin. So I've got these marked back here so we can put these in place. So what we got to do is we got to glue these down. So take our glue, and we're going to spread that. And we're going to do the same on the other piece. Give a little bit more. Spread that around. Get that, make sure that we have it all on there. Take a rag, fingers off, and we're going to take these clamps and we're going to clamp these on. So we're going to take these and flip these upside down. We're going to set them on there like so. Going to line that up at the front. So we'll get that lined up. Take our clamp, clamp that down. Take our other side, line it up, and we're going to clamp that down. We got those on there, and then we're going to let those dry. And once that dries, I'm going to go ahead and, for extra support, I'm going to throw in a couple of nails into each one of these to hold those on. So now we got to put the back ones on. So we're going to do the same thing. Glue and glue. Spread it around. Spread it around. Wipe off the excess. So for a rubber band racing car, we showed you that we put the axles on the front, and this is put together. So that's how we glued it on the 5-inch piece. The two axle supports go in. Okay, so for the back, the way these go on, so remember the front axle, the axle supports go on the bottom of the car. And for the drive shaft wheels on the back, they go on the top side. So you have wheels on the bottom and the second set of axles on top. All right, so the last few steps I'm going to show you, I'm going to actually show you pictures of going through the steps with the prototype made out of cardboard, because you can make the same project out of cardboard. So what I'm going to do is show you the pictures. So if you come in here and take a look at this one first. Okay, this is made with pencils. I use dowels. So you're going to push that through, but what you're going to do first is you're going to pull that out, put the wheel in, glue the wheel, and put 2 eye hooks on either side. And for your front axle, you're going to put the wheel on one side and glue it, slide it through the axle holder, and then glue on the other wheel. So there's our 2-inch wheels, and that's putting the first one on. Then we come down here, and that's all glued, so we put that through the pencil or the dowel, and then we put our wheel on the other side and glue it. And once those are all in, then we cut out the 2 small pieces on the side that's going to be our rubber band holder to help propel the car. And once it's all together, you're going to put the wheel through, slide it through both sides, glue it, and then you're going to put your eye hooks in, and then put the rubber bands on. So what you're going to end up with is this. So you're going to push it through one side, you're going to put your eye hooks in, only on one side, then you're going to slide it through, put the other one in, and then you're going to glue the center wheel into place, and then glue the wheels in the front into place. Here's our little hooks on the sides that are going to hold our rubber bands. So we loop the rubber bands through, and then what we're going to do is we're going to wind it up, and we're going to take it out to Daytona and try it out on the speedway. So we're going to wind this up, and we're going to take it out. Okay, here we are at the speedway. We're going to give this a shot. So I've got it wound up, so you wind it backwards for it to go forwards. We're going to set it down and give it a shot. All right. And there you go. That was a short run. You can actually take the rubber bands and make these side pieces longer so the rubber band stretches out more, wind it up more, and it'll go further. You can get up to 30 to 60 feet with this.